This is FRA, Free Readers Association, and we are reviewing top 18 stories that made headlines in 2018. Our next story. Drug abuse among Nigerians leads to the ban of codeine and tramadol. The rising rate of drug abuse in Nigeria was exposed by a BBC documentary that prompted the government to ban codeine and tramadol earlier in 2018. Consequent to this action, NAFDAC went ahead to shut down 3 pharmaceutical companies for unethical distribution of the banned drugs. The move did not put an end to drug abuse as the menace lingered on throughout 2018. We'll start with Ms. Ireti.
Well, this is one of those things, it's, they call it, bolting the door after the horse has escaped. It was too little, too late, without a doubt. The BBC expose, I tell you, there had been other Nigerian production companies that had actually been exposing this way before the BBC came along. Still yet nobody listened. As typical as the Nigerian government is, they wouldn't listen. But irrespective of that, let's go away from the expose. The one thing we've all known for a long time, look, you go back decades and decades, is that drugs has always been in our communities, and it's been killing and maiming a lot of Nigerian young people for decades. And again, nobody stood up and woke up to it. Now, here's where I'd like to go. So we can talk about whose responsibility it is, etc., etc. But I'd like to talk pop culture. Pop culture and drugs, they come hand in hand like that. However, where's the responsibility? So Olamide does that lovely song that we all dance to and everything, you didn't dance to it. Nah. You didn't shaku? Nah, no cat?
I didn't shaku.
You didn't shaku. Right. So, so you had that big track, and I kept thinking, so there were those who were complaining about it, and of course the government did a typical, knee-jerk reaction, foolishness, and they banned it, and of course it went sky high. We all wanted to listen to it more. And the more you listen to it, all that kept going through my head was, oh gosh, I really wish he would invest part of this money into a drug rehab center. Look, then we talk about the societal ills. So drug rehab center, who gets access to drug rehab center is also often the children of the rich, the elites. But they're not just the ones that are being affected by this. It's the children, the kids in the ghettos who are affected not just by drugs, but by really bad drugs. Do you understand? And they never, ever, ever get access to drug rehab centers. They don't get access to treatment. So that's why I said, pop culture, yes, we know, there's glamorization. Look, Tiwa Savage did another song, Sensimi Ganja, whatever the title is called, I can't remember what the title is. That's a codeine diet. In any other parts of the world, questions would have been raised, but no, we shake our hips to it and swing our heads to it, and it's okay. But I'm saying that, is that money? Why? I don't mind them doing that, but put that money in rehab center. Why not? Why do they have to wait for government to do everything?
We're holding our entertainers to a higher standard than we hold other members of society. It's his job to make art. It's not his job to train everybody's kids. You get these drugs find their way into the communities. It's not Olamide or Tiwa Savage that's bringing them. What are we doing to restrict, the access to these drugs? Pretty much nothing.
I think that's where we need to talk about. So
I disagree.
I don't really care what Olamide does, but the question is, codeine is illegal.
Freely available.
Is a legal drug. It works to help pain, right? But misused, it then becomes intoxicating and the rest. So the question you want to ask is, how is it done elsewhere? Right. So for instance, in the UK, there are pharmacists, right? And if you want to have a prescription, it is attached to your number, what you call it, and then your NHS. And when you get the drugs, whether you pay or whatever it is tagged to you. So if you try to get it from multiple sources, it is clear that this person is trying to.
But there's still a lot of abuse
Nigeria,
in the UK.
No, what I'm even trying to say is that if we're trying to control it, right? We don't. the UK doesn't consume as much as we do here. That's the first thing. The consumption is massive.
Yeah, but the
so
cocaine
wherever
is
you go
one.
to, there's always going to be cocaine. There's always going to be marijuana. But it is you trying to reduce and make sure as much as possible, at least let them try harder. To get their hands on it. So, but in Nigeria, we have less than 10,000 pharmacists. Less than
Registered
10.
pharmacists.
Yeah, the other ones are chemists. And because
There's a big difference.
yeah, there's a big difference. And the reason why we've not been able to clamp down on those chemists, because what they're doing is actually illegal, is because we know we don't have the capacity in terms of pharmacists. So we've just ignored them. They're a necessary evil.
So sorry, but you keep saying that pop culture is not, shouldn't be doing anything. In the West, who do you think tend to invest in these things more so? It's not as they don't wait for government. They do invest. You get people constantly saying 10%, 20%, 30% of this is going into drug rehabilitation. Why should I'm not saying Olamide? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It is by choice, but sorry, is it that they think any differently to the way we think? Am I saying that? Let's be frank with each other. I'm sick and tired of how we constantly say, oh, the pop culture is not responsible. No, you're not responsible for my son. But guess what? If you're from the ghetto and you've seen your boys from the ghetto go through this and you've been seeing them dying, just like they did in the African Americans actually began to clean their own environment. The government didn't do it for them. So what is wrong with you doing it?
Sir.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Ireti does have a point in terms of the fact that when you see,
Especially if
we can't
you're coming
ignore-
from there.
Yeah, exactly. You can't ignore the role that artists and entertainers play as guardians in terms of modeling and possibly encouraging behavior. A lot of it is inadvertent. A lot of it is inadvertent, as it were. So Olamide could very well have been communicating within the context of, okay, this is the social paradigm.
That's what he was doing.
Right. He
wasn't promoting it. No, he wasn't.
Right?
He wasn't.
But that's the paradigm. And so in the end, the entire conversation about drug abuse would also have to be subsumed with larger questions about, Nigerian society.
Well,
About us as a people, yes.
well, with codeine or without codeine, would you even shaku anyway?
Well, I think we'll be shackling for the rest of our lives.
I am still
Henry, are you shackling? I figured it out. I told you, shake your hips and shake your head.
Right. We'll be right back.